attention, please? May I have your attention, please? Fossil is starting. Fossil is starting. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kai, and I will be your master of ceremonies for Fossil of the Day this year. Please join me in singing the Fossil of the Day anthem, lyrics here, with our flag bearers. Fossil of the day, fossil of the day, who is bad, who is worse? Fossil of the day, fossil of the day, all the blame, all the shame, fossil of the day. For those of you who don't know, Fossil of the Day is an award ceremony that gives due recognition to those countries working their hardest to block negotiations here at COP. It is put on every year by CAN International and is supported by youth delegations from every corner of the globe. Join us each day to name and shame who is bad and who is worse, and on the final day of the negotiations, in announcing the recipient of the Fossil of the Year. Let's hear it for Fossil of the Day! And without further ado, let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, we only have one Fossil Award for today, but it is a hefty one. Many would have thought that this country's position at COP couldn't have got much worse after the dismantling of its climate change department, ridding itself of the burden of a climate change minister, and intending to remove its carbon price during COP. But we thought wrong. Yesterday, their domestic media revealed that this country will not be putting forward any new finance commitments in Warsaw. Beyond its prior fast start finance commitments, earning them this COP's very first Fossil of the Day. This is... We hear you. This is despite the crushing losses suffered by the Philippines and many other countries this week, a country who is a Pacific neighbor and needs international finance to ensure against future tragedy. This illustrates this country's lack of understanding as to the purpose of climate finance. To top it off, their cabinet ministers characterize climate finance as socialism masquerading as environmentalism. We have news for you. It's not socialism, it's equity, and it's your responsibility. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the Fossil of the Day. Drum roll, please. This year's Fossil of the Day goes to Australia. Please take your place at the podium.
Oh, look, thanks, mate.
Absolutely.
Great. Yes, thank you. Yeah, really terrific.
Glad you feel that way. Now, it's COP19 in 2013, and I'd like to ask you a few questions. Firstly, why can't you commit to long-term financing?
Why? As you know, there's a very critical situation here in Australia. Our finances are stretched very thin. We're currently undertaking a new domestic policy called iPhoneisation. Did you know that there are currently children living in Australia only with iPhone 4Ss? Yeah. So we're going to right that wrong, and it's pricey. It doesn't come for free.
No, that must be tough. I mean, I completely understand. Well, I guess we'll see you in 2 years in Paris at the signing of the global agreement.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well, welcome back.
Thanks. I'm back. Yeah, it's great to be back.
Two full years,
Yeah.
and Australia has won the Fossil again. I'd like to ask you the same question, Australia. Why don't you want to commit to long-term financing?
Well, you know, mate, there's truly a dire situation at home in Australia. We are still having problems with money. You know what it's like across Europe.
Yes.
And, you know, we've got a crisis in the education sector. Our kids don't understand geography. So we have a new program that promises a world tour for every child. Everyone comes to Australia, so it's a question of justice. Free world tours for Australian kids.
But that must cost billions of dollars to move around so many people.
Yeah, you can imagine it costs billions of dollars, which is why we don't have money for long-term climate finance.
Well, okay, I guess see you next time. Back we are here again with the Australian representative, looking slightly less happy this time. It's 2100 and, you know, we're still wondering why you can't commit to long-term finance.
Yes, well, climate change has had a huge impact on Australia. 4 degrees sea level rise, and unfortunately our home country is now not livable.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah,
so
it's bad, mate.
What are you doing about it? Are other countries supporting you, and how are you supporting otter countries to mitigate and adapt to climate change?
Well, look, we'd love to help other countries, but at the moment we're really busy moving to Mars due to extreme global discrimination against Australians. People just don't like us, and we don't understand why. Why?
I don't get it.
Thank you.
Whoa. Moving on, we're going to end things a little differently today. CAN has decided, in light of today's events, to create a new award, the Ray of Solidarity. Today, just as we have heard with great sadness and frustration Australia's intentions not to increase its climate financing, we also heard from the Philippines' lead negotiator, Yeb Sano, who addressed the opening session of the UN climate negotiations here, calling for urgent action to prevent a repeat of the devastating storm that hit parts of his country this past weekend. Super Typhoon Haiyan was nothing the world has ever experienced. During his speech, Sano thanked civil society, especially those who are risking their lives climbing oil rigs in the Arctic, trying to stop the building of new oil pipelines, or any direct action against the dirty fossil fuel industry. To this we say to Sano and the rest of the countries of the world, civil society has never felt the urgency of action as much as we do now, and we guarantee that we will never lose our passions, motivation, and determination to achieve a change in light of these and many other events. We stand in solidarity with both the Philippines and all other nations that were hit by this devastation, and urge the international community to act more strongly than ever before to reduce the threat of climate change and push towards a new, globally binding agreement at COP19. We would like to have a moment of silence as a symbol of our solidarity and invite you to all hold hands and stand with us. And I'd like to invite the Philippine representative up here to accept this award. Silence. I invite you to hold hands and stand with us. Thank you all for coming out. Please feel free to grab a press release. We're going to have them available here. And I invite you to join in other fossils of the day. And let me just say I'm impressed with the precedent that Yeb Sano set today by speaking out very strongly. And I hope that we can carry that momentum forward throughout the rest of COP. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.